Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. To you, Lord, I'm grateful, Allah the sustainer. For sins I'm remorseful, Allah the forgiver. For blessings I'm hopeful, Allah the bestower. Gracious and merciful, Allah the creator. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الخلق أجمعين محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. The subject of Aqaid, the justice of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we discussed before about al-husn wal-qubh al-aqliyain, the rationality of good and evil things. And today the subject to discuss is compulsion, freedom and state between both of them, or what is said al-jabr wal-tafweed wal-amrun bayna amrayn. What is meant here is discussing about actions and deeds of the human being. Whatever we do, good or bad, if we offer our prayer, or if we do any sin, are we having complete freedom to do what we want? There is no control of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala about us. Or are we forced by Allah, because Allah is the only creator, so He is creating what we are doing. He created us, and is He the creator of our deeds as well, so that our deeds, whether they are good or bad, should be related to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and not to us. This is the second. Or as the Ahlul Bayt Salamullahi alayhim mentioned, it is a state in between, a state between compulsion and complete freedom. And actually one asked the Imam, is there any state in between, either this or that? He said yes, the distance between these, like the distance between earth and sky, you want to show that there is a big distance between both of them, should be realized. And this is one of really very difficult subjects and very important subjects. The belief there is very important, very sensitive. The Muslim scholars who did not take it from Ahlul Bayt, they thought of their own understanding. They thought about it, whether there is compulsion or not. The Ash'aris, they said, if we claim that a human being is free to do what he wants to do, this means a human being is a creator of his deeds. And if he is a creator of his deeds, then there will be another creator beside Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And since we said there is no creator in the universe except Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so then in their mind the solution, they said, we have to say that we and our deeds all are created by Allah. And when you ask them that how come that happens, that I do wrong thing and Allah created that, and then He punished me for the wrong I'm doing, they say, the Holy Quran, لا يسأل عما يفعل. Allah is not to be questioned about what He does. وهم يسألون, and they are questioned. We have no answer, and we cannot question God. This is how God did it and how created it. Of course, the matter looks not logic. Even by practice, Ash'aris, they do not practice that view. Because if you beat one of the Ash'aris, for example, by a stick or throw stone and break a glass of his house, will he come and put a case against you, or he said, no, the case is against God, God did it, not you? Which one? Naturally he will say, no, you did it. If you drive a car and by chance, by mistake, you hit car of somebody believing Ash'aris, or hit his son and his son is killed in car accident, then will he blame the driver, or he said, no, the driver not to be blamed, all done by God? So which one is there? So naturally the Ash'aris, in their heart, they know what they believe is wrong. In their heart, it was very clear, very evident. But because they have not understood Tawheed, and we said it in lectures of Tawheed, Tawheed al-Af'al, the deeds are all done by Allah, what is its meaning? And here also come the same subject, that though we believe everything is created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He is the cause of all causes, but then what does that mean, cause of all causes? Means there are other causes. He is a cause for that. They are also called causes, not that they are not a cause. However, Ash'ari, in their mind, they could not solve this problem. And they said ultimately, because Allah is the Almighty, and there is no creator, no cause other than Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so our deeds are done by Him completely. This is the view of Ash'ari. Now when you come to another view, the Mu'tazila. The Mu'tazila, they are of two types, The majority type of them, they said if we say about complete freedom in our actions and in our deeds, and the only cause is Allah, then we are relating to Allah doing bad things. Those who killed the prophets, we said Allah did it. Those who injured the mu'mineen and killed the Muslims and in wars and all the bad doings of the people is related to Allah. So how can we relate bad things to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? This is not possible. But they have no answer, because they have not taken from Ahlul Bayt the answer. They said, okay, now we will see that complete freedom. We have complete freedom to do what we want. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَوَّضَ al-amr here is mentioned like He's delegated the things for us to do it. So Allah has no role at all in doing the things. In that sense, what they mean, in creation, they said we were created by Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is, they believe in our existence and creation, we were created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But in our actions and deeds, Allah left us. It has nothing to do with us. And like we don't need Allah. We do whatever power put with us, and we don't need at all. There is no link. If I give it a physical example, you need a petrol for your car from the petrol station. Once you got the petrol, then you don't need the petrol station. You can drive the car on your own. You have nothing to do with the petrol station. So they understood the role of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in order to keep justice of Allah. In order to keep that, what they said Allah has nothing to do at all with our deeds. We have complete freedom to do what we want. See, this is what we mean, complete freedom. There is tafweed. Allah delegated all the things to us, and He is not interfering at all in our deeds. So whatever good we do or bad we do it directly only by ourselves, and God is not there. So you see, that is how they say. So in that case, what they did actually, where they have gone wrong, they took the creation and the power of subsistent and everything is in need of Allah, that took that idea from Allah. They said, no, Allah has nothing to do with that. And that is why in hadith from Ahlul Bayt, Salamullah alayhim, it said, they wanted to glorify Allah from doing wrong things to be related. They withdraw the kingdom of Allah from Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They withdraw His kingdom. Because you say He is not controlling our deeds and we can do whatever we want, and that is all created by us. Of course, if we remember what we discussed in subject of Tawheed, here there will be two creators, and we said the only creator who is independent is Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The only independent cause in the world, and whatever Almighty Allah has created, the only independent cause is Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is no independent cause in the world. All other causes are permitted by Almighty Allah to have its effect. Not that they are independent. And the example we gave is not like the petrol for the car. It's like electricity and the bulb. The bulb is giving the light, but not independently. It depends on the electricity and coming of electricity continuously in the electrical wires. The moment electricity stops, the bulb is dark, there's no light. So the creation and the power and the control of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we gave example like electricity. In creating us, He is the cause, and in remaining existent, also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the cause. So we need Almighty Allah at the beginning for the creation, and we need Him later on for continuing our existence and our activities. That both are there. So if that in Tawheed is realized, naturally here comes that we cannot say that there is tafweed, that Allah did tafweed like that. Now some of the Mu'tazila, again they said this complete delegation or freedom, again not possible, so they have to put it in a way or another which can be accepted. They said it is not like that, because they cannot deny that we do things with our own hand. If God forbid somebody drinking wine, he drinking with his own hand. How can he say delegated completely, and the hand is controlled by Allah? So some who are mujabbara or jabriya, they said, I mean they are part of the Ash'ara, sorry, not the Mu'tazila. They said God is the one who is the cause, but He move our hands and our body, and our hand and body are doing the things, but He is the mover. So it's not talking of the action, it's talking about the intermediate cause. I mean, let us say our leg or our hand or our body, whatever good or bad is done. They give example like somebody, you put a knife in his hand, a child, and you catch hand of the child with the knife and then hit somebody, injure somebody else. Now the one who did it directly is the knife, naturally the knife not to be blamed. Then the second one is hand of the child by his hand. Again, you cannot blame him, but you blame the one who moved by force hand of the child and did it. So they say Allah is the one who controls everything, but He did the thing through our hands. We are the sabab, the near cause, but He did it without our freedom. We have no freedom. We are predetermined, or there is compulsion here. So that is, well, a third view, which is like, I mean, the first view, which is they said that we are forced and there is no freedom. Now, Ahlul Bayt Salamullahi alayhim, they replied in very short and well-known hadith. They said, لا جبر ولا تفويض بل أمر بين أمرين. Or sometimes they say, بل الأمر بين أمرين. There is no compulsion and no freedom, but it is a state in between these two states. So here we said the person himself is responsible of his deeds. No, that he is not responsible. But at the same time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not lose his control on the people. Still Allah has the control and is giving us life and giving us power, and still he is regarded as a cause of our deeds, So it is in between the state. To understand this point as an explanation, you see it's the two ways. They said the action is the cause of Allah, but the human being is free to choose it. He selects his deeds by his own will. That is one of the explanations given for the hadith of لا جبر ولا تفويض بل أمر بين أمرين. What does it mean? Sometimes you need to understand it in a rational way. So they said, Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala no doubt created us, gave us health, gave us life, gave us power, gave us activity. With his support we are living. With his support we are moving. That is no doubt about it. But at the same time, we have chosen the direction. He gave us the power, but we have a freedom to choose the direction. My hand, I am free to move it, though God gave it the power. God gave it the ability to move. If God wants to stop that, well, my hand get paralyzed. I get dead. So God gave me everything. True. But then the last moment to choose, either I choose to drink orange juice, which is halal, or God forbid to drink wine, which is haram. The direction is done by me. The choose, the selection to do good or bad is done by me. If I give it a, let us say, physical example to know, if the car is not working, there is no charge, and few people come and push the car. So now who is moving the car? The people are pushing. The driver cannot drive the car. The people are pushing the car. But the driver has the steering to move the car right or left. So he has a freedom to move the car, but that freedom is with the support of people who are pushing. If the people do not push, the car will stop. It cannot go right and left. So they push, but still the driver will choose where to go in a good way or in a bad way. But still the people will push, will not mind, but they say, okay, you choose, you go to right side or left side, that is your direction. So here is the same thing. No doubt Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the cause of all other causes. But we realize very simply, easily, that I have a freedom to choose. If I want to choose to drink orange juice, I can do it. And if God forbid, I want to drink wine, I can choose it. So it is my freedom, not that somebody is forcing me. And we realize very simply that there is a difference between I choose to drink or somebody come and force me and open my mouth and put the drink in my mouth. So there is a difference between these two cases. There is a difference between I get a stick, for example, and go and break window of the neighbor with my own will because the neighbor, for example, hurt me and I want to hurt him, so I go. Or somebody by force come and catch my hand with the stick and then he move the stick and break the window. So everybody can realize that there is a difference between two cases. So there is a freedom. But then who has chosen the right way from the wrong way? Ultimately, it is my will. My will to choose the right. The power of God is there. The support of God is there. The will of God is there to give me life, to give me power, to give me movement, to let my heart beating. If my heart stop beating, naturally the thief cannot go and do robbery because he will die. If his leg get paralyzed, he cannot go. If the hand get paralyzed, then somebody who want to attack, he cannot. So naturally, if all that are not, all that blessing and favor of the life is not given to the person, he cannot do good or bad. But at the same time, the decision to choose is the decision of the human being. So that is one of the explanations of this, that it is for us to choose, but for Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is to give us continuous support. Like we gave example of electricity. We said the city will give you electricity continuously. Now it is up to you to put a bulb of 100 watt or 500 watt or 25 watt, or to put it for a burner, or to put it for iron. It is up to you where to choose, where to use it. But still, the support is continuous. We cannot say that there is no, I don't need the electricity of the city, I can run it without that. It's not possible. Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His support is necessary continuously. But at the same time, we have freedom to choose. So that is one of the explanations. The second explanation, they said the actions and the deeds which are done by us are related to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala directly, and at the same time it is related really to us. So we are both together are doing that deed or that action. But as you said, it is in length of each other, not parallel to each other. I mean, Allah gave me the power and I am a cause. That is why the thing can be related to me directly, say I did the wrong thing, and can be related to Allah, means Allah is the creator. So as a creator, Allah is the creator. And the one who has willpower, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has willpower, naturally. And the one who decide things to move, to continue, let us say life and power and ability to continue with us, it is decision of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But at the same time, we are regarded as a cause, and we are the, let us say, the near cause. We are the cause. That is why it is related to us, really related to us, and we are responsible. Even in our day-to-day life, we say that we are responsible of our deeds. You know, I mean, every court in the world, they said you are responsible. We will not say Allah is responsible, and then we cannot argue about him. So that is the another answer which is given. It happened in a story, nice story, about Abu Hanifa and Buhlul. One day Buhlul was passing and Abu Hanifa was teaching the people, the student in the mosque, and Buhlul heard Abu Hanifa says that I hear the three things from Imam Sadiq, but still I do not believe about them. But Imam Sadiq said, still I am not. Imam Sadiq said, Allah cannot be seen. And I wonder how something is existing and cannot be seen. It's not possible. So if not in this world, in the hereafter, as it is the common Sunni belief, in the hereafter the people will see their God, and we discussed that Almighty Allah cannot be seen. So he said that is one. The second thing, he said Imam Sadiq said that Satan will be punished in hellfire. And how come that happened? Satan is made of fire. Iblis is made of fire, and if he's put in fire, there is no punishment. So there is no suffering for Iblis if he go to hellfire. And the third thing, he said that we are responsible of our deeds. How come? The only creator is Allah. So all what we do is done by Allah. He is the cause, not us. So I don't believe it what Imam Sadiq said. So Buhlul took a clay and threw that clay in the forehead of Abu Hanifa and naturally hurt him. And well, the student and Abu Hanifa caught him and brought him to the judge. He said, look, this gentleman attacked our teacher. Then the judge asked Buhlul, have you done that and why you did it? Buhlul said, now Abu Hanifa claims that he has a lot of pain, have headache, but can he show me his pain? If pain is really available, I should be able to see it, because already he taught his student that everything existing must be possible to see. And now if pain is existing, I should see the pain, but I don't see the pain. Can any one of you see the pain? No, all of them said, no, pain cannot be seen. He said, secondly, Abu Hanifa said about Satan is made of hellfire and is punished in hellfire. So that is not possible. Now, he as a human being is made of a clay, as the Holy Quran said. And what I throw is a clay. The clay will not hurt the clay. So he should not complain about that. And the third thing, Abu Hanifa said, everything is done by Allah. And if everything done by Allah, then he should complain about Allah, not about me. I am not the one who did it. Allah did it. So now the judge said, okay, Buhlul, go home now. We realize your lesson, that is a good lesson to teach in a practical way, because as I said, that is true, if somebody come and rob the money of a person, he will not say that Allah did it. He say, that person is a thief and he did it, So it is realized that the person is responsible of his deed. But at the same time, we don't say that the person is entirely independent of Allah. No, there is no independence from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is still dependent on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But at the same time, he is responsible of his deeds, because there is a limit of a freedom to choose, though the power is given to him, power of life and movement and being existing is given by him from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that is how we understand that. When we come to the Holy Quran, you see there are many ayahs in the Holy Quran discuss those points. We see in Surah Al-Anfal, ayah 17, فَلَمْ تَقْتُلُوهُمْ وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ قَتَلَهُمْ وَمَا رَمَيْتَ إِذْ رَمَيْتَ وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ رَمَى وَلِيُبْلِيَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ مِنْهُ بَلَاءً حَسَنًا إِنَّ اللَّهَ سَمِيعٌ عَلِيمٌ. It looks about the condition in the Battle of Badr, where the Prophet took a little clay and threw it in face of the mushrikeen, and that was the cause for them to be defeated. So the one who threw was the Prophet by his hand. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, you have not done it, but Allah did it. So first, Allah related it to him. He said, so you did not slay them, about killing, but it was Allah who slew them. So the slaying was related to the mu'mineen and to the believers, but at the same time related to Allah, related to both, as we discussed. And also the second point, وَمَا رَمَيْتَ, and you did not smite when you smote the enemy, but it was Allah who smote. You did not throw, but Allah is the one who throw. Well, naturally, you throw means related to you, to the Prophet or to the believers, whatever they here said. So you throw. So it related to you, but at the same time it is related to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The throwing, physical throwing, was done by the Prophet. Yes, he is the cause for that. But the effect and the power given and to have that little clay thrown to the non-believers to have its effect of defeating them, all that was done by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But still, the first action was done by the Prophet. So as we said, it is related to the person and related to Allah at the same time. And that is a state in between. The second ayah in Surah Al-Tawbah, ayah 14, قاتلوهم يعذبهم الله بأيديكم ويخزهم وينصركم عليهم ويشفي صدور قوم مؤمنين. Fight them, Allah will punish them by your hands and bring them to disgrace and assist you against them and heal the hearts of a believing people. So here he said Allah will punish them by your hands. So here you are the one who will punish. Probably here the punishment meant killing the enemies, as in tafsir. So the one who is killing the enemy is the believers who are fighting and defending themselves from the enemies. But at the same time he said Allah will do it. Allah will give you the victory, the success, the life, the power, the energy, all that done by Allah, and ultimately your activities will reach to success. So you have done it, and at the same time Allah did it. In another ayah, the third ayah, ثم قست قلوبكم من بعد ذلك. So Allah related the thing here. He said, then your hearts, that is in Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah 74, your hearts hardened after that. Here, hardening of the heart is related to the people. Probably the ayah is talking about the Jews in those days. They said your hearts become hardened after that. So they were like rocks. So here he related it to the people themselves. And also in another place, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-Ma'idah ayah 13, فبما نقضهم ميثاقهم لعناهم وجعلنا قلوبهم قاسية يحرفون الكلمة عن مواضعه. But on account of their breaking their covenant, we cursed them and made their hearts hard. They altered the words of their places, from their places, and they neglected a portion of what they were reminded of. So because they altered the words of Allah from its place, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, and made their hearts hard. So here Allah related to himself. He made hearts of the non-believers hard. And the ayah before that in Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah 74, Allah said, then your hearts become hard. So it's related to both. Sometimes Allah related to himself or to both. As we said, all our actions are related to Allah because Allah is the cause of all causes, but at the same time related to us because we are responsible of it. And these are an example for both. Relation, as we said, it is related to the human being and to Allah. But there are also many ayahs of the Holy Quran which shows that Allah has given freedom to people to choose either way. Like this in Surah Fussilat, ayah 46, من عمل صالحا فلنفسه ومن أساء فعليها وما ربك بظلام للعبيد. Whoever does good, it is for his own soul, and whoever does evil, it is against it. And your Lord is not in the least unjust to the servants. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala related both of them to a human being himself and related it the freedom whether to do good or bad to the human being. So certain ayahs here, or in another ayah in Surah Al-Shams, ayah 7 to 10. وَنَفْسٍ وَمَا سَوَّاهَا فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is swearing by the soul, and He, Almighty Allah, who made it, who inspired it, its good and bad, or its piety and corruption. So the one he's prosperous, the one who purifies it, and he will lose the one who goes in the wrong way. So here, give the permission, the freedom to him. If he purify his soul and become pious, he is prosperous. But if he choose to go wrong, then he is responsible. Well, in another ayah in Surah Al-Insan, ayah number 3, إِنَّا هَدَيْنَاهُ السَّبِيلَ إِمَّا شَاكِرًا وَإِمَّا كَفُورًا. We have guided him the path. Either he praise Allah, or he is not a believer with Allah. So Allah gave him the power of understanding, but gave him freedom at the same time to choose this way or that way. And there are many ayahs in the Holy Quran about it, which clarify this point, about the freedom. So we say no doubt the human being has a freedom, but still we differentiate between something done by force and something done by freedom. If somebody is standing on the roof of a, let us say, 10-story building at the edge, if somebody from the back come and hit him, he will fall and die. But here it is clear, nobody will blame him. He said, well, they will blame that one who pushed him, will not blame the deceased. But if the deceased decide to attempt suicide and he jump, naturally the same act will happen. He will fall down and will die. But in the first instance, they blame the person who pushed him. In the second instance, they blame the person himself and say he attempted suicide. So the first case is a criminal act, the second one is done by him. So there is a difference. Though the act is the same thing, somebody fell from top of the building to the ground. But we realize that there is a sort of a freedom. But as we said, this freedom, not that we are completely independent of Allah, that Allah has no control, no power. No, it is not right. Still, Allah gave us the life, gave us the power, gave us the freedom, and with that we can move. So this is in short about this subject. There are certain hadith about it, and maybe we'll elaborate it inshallah in a second lecture. والحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.